I want to cut across to my colleague Rohit Singh. He's joining us for the very latest. Rohit, what's the latest that you have for us?
The atmosphere in the area is absolutely tense at this point of time because throughout the day, the entire city was turned into literally a battlefield. Violent clashes were seen, and because the Dhanbad Municipal Corporation elections were going on, and this fight erupted. In fact, these violent clashes erupted between two supporters of two candidates. One is Chotu Singh and another is Shailendra Singh. And bombs were hurled at each other. Almost 7 to 8 bombs were hurled at each other. And firing also took place. Several rounds of firing took place, and an entire town for quite some time turned into a battlefield. And the police there on the election duty was just a mute spectator. And when the situation went out of hand, when the supporters of both the candidates they barged into the polling station, they broke the EVM machines. The election duty officers they also fled from the area. That is when the police rose from their slumber and they came to the spot, and the situation at this point of time though is calm, but there is tension in the area at this point of time.
All right, appreciate you joining us, Rohit. We're going to keep coming back to you for the latest updates in the story. Once again, to the benefit of our viewers, we want to take our viewers across to the latest that is coming in from Dhanbad at this point of time, and then we're going to try and cut across back to Rohit Singh. All right, to take our viewers to the very latest, the news that we're breaking. Clear gun fest after local polls in Jharkhand. Two rival candidates got locked in a gun battle, even as policemen on duty at the poll booth remained mute spectators. As over half a dozen bombs were hurled and bullets flew, 4 people were seriously injured and were rushed to the hospital. It did not quite end there. The poll booth was ransacked, EVMs were destroyed, and a local labour union leader was also beaten up. This despite high security bandobast in the area, considering the municipal polls here. I want to cut across to the latest reactions that we're getting in from Ground Zero, and then we're going to try and connect to our deputy editor Shootout for more, and Rohit Singh, who's on Ground Zero.
हम लोग वोट देने के संदर्भ में और जब हल्ला हुआ हम लोग बाहर आए, भागने लगे, देखे भीड़ भाड़ पूरा भागने लगे। जब गोली चल रहा था, पटाखे से आवाज हो रहा था, बम भी फूट रहा था, हम लोग भागे लगे बूथ से निकल के। ये बचपन निकल के एक घर में घुस गया, पार्टी तार्टी छोड़ के अपना इसको घर में घुस के जाकर मारा।
कौन सी मारा?
गोलियां मारा।
To talk us through the latest visuals that we're getting in, I want to cut across to Shootout, who's on the phone line with us. Shiv, can you take us through the visuals that we're getting in at this point of time?
Stunning images coming in, Preeti, at this point of time. We've got these images that happened right after the civic, the municipality elections that happened in Dhanbad in Jharkhand, and blood flowing freely in these extremely disturbing elections. These are not low-level elections by any stretch. These are civic elections. They are civic polls backed by political parties. As you can see in these very dramatic images, at least 3 people pull out weapons, open fire indiscriminately in that crowded area. Apparently, it started off as an exchange of fire between the supporters of 2 of those who were actually contesting in these civic elections, and it soon turned into a near riot-like situation. In fact, the camera person actually shooting these images, very nearly, got injured himself, because these images were shot right in the middle of that gunfire actually happening. And as you can listen in the audio, you can actually hear the gunshots being fired. And that individual, in these images, dramatic, terrifying images, that man running across the screen at this point has managed to injure at least 4 people. All of them are supposed to be in a serious condition, is what we're hearing right now from our reporter on the ground in Dhanbad. We've heard of, election-linked violence of this kind, Preeti, across the country, but this is perhaps one of the few times we've actually seen it break out right there on camera. A reporter was there with a camera, to capture these images of a person actually pulling out his weapon and opening fire right there in the middle of the crowd. Blood has flowed freely. 4 people are injured. They've been admitted to a nearby hospital. Apparently, 2 of them are said to be critically injured. And nobody has, made any claim so far about what this violence was really about. But it appears to have been sparked right
Right.
after the results of those elections came out and the supporters of two people who stood for those elections started exchanging fire.
If we still have Rohit Singh, Rohit, have there been, all right, we don't have Rohit with us. Shiv, was there involvement of any political outfit or a political party?
No political parties have, made any claims so far, Preeti. That's a good question, and I'm sure, there will be higher-ups who are responsible, because our understanding is that the people who've opened fire in this attack in Dhanbad aren't directly linked to political parties, but they were actually supporters of some of the candidates. So whether these were private individuals involved in this firing or people who belong to political parties is something that we'll need to confirm in the next couple of hours. But the story right now is just how terrifying these images from Dhanbad really are. Vehicles damaged, people have taken bullets, crowds right outside the municipality where the elections were held, have been injured. Two of them have been admitted to a hospital in a very serious condition.